I can't believe Passover actually begins tomorrow. Of course, last year we were just at the beginning stages of the COVID 19 crisis. At the beginning of Passover. And to talk a little bit more, let's bring in our good friend, Rabbi Kasriel Shemtov, Vice President of the Chabad Lubavitch of Michigan. So great to have you with us.
So great to be here. Thank you.
Rabbi, what's Passover going to look like this year? Will more and more families be able to meet in person, do you think?
Well, definitely more than last year, and I think it's a good beginning. And it's wonderful that families can sit together for Saturday night and Sunday night for the festive Passover Seder.
And so, Passover, the festival of freedom, so many people this year feel like they have found a new sense of freedom because they've been able to get vaccinated, they've been able to join. What are you hearing from those in your community about getting together? Are some people still nervous, though?
Yes, yes. In fact, there are a number of people that did not yet have the opportunity to get vaccinated. And even those that are vaccinated are being very cautious. But I think it does help for families, grandparents with grandchildren. That's what's so special to be together for the Seder. Let me share with you for a moment about how important that is for a Seder. When you're sitting down to a Passover Seder, that is the time when the children are primary. The children are the stars of the Seder. They're the ones that ask the four questions. We have different types of children, and the entire tradition is to be able to focus to each child individually. And it's done with their grandparents at the table. And let me share with you something fascinating that I like to focus on when it comes to Passover. Um, the the I guess the normal gap in generations is like 30 years. So when you have child, parent, and grandparent, you have 60 years of history at that Seder table. The history of how the Jews went out of Egypt from slavery to freedom and how we could all learn from that. But when you want to go a little further, the grandparent that's telling the stories at the Seder table, they're telling stories when they were a child, hearing stories from their grandparents. So now you have 120 years of history at that Seder table. You want to take that a step further, the child listening to that story is going to share it, God willing, with their grandchildren. So that's 210 years reflected at our Seder table to Saturday night. Take 15 of those Seder tables and you're back 3,300 years ago to the Exodus of Egypt. So the idea of the Seder is very much anchored in Jewish history and so much that we learn from our history and from the traditions of Passover. So I think this year is something very special that now grandparents and grandchildren can sit together in many occasions, and everyone else will be waiting for next time. So this is a wonderful opportunity.
And do you have family members that maybe this is going to be the first time they've seen each other in person for a year?
In fact, yes, absolutely. I know I've already been hearing for some of them that went out and took a flight for the first time in the year, and they're, very excited. Some of them they're traveling by car, but they are coming together for the first time and allowing themselves to be together.
I know that I've been seeing, videos that are posted now on social media of grandparents and their grandkids hugging for the first time in a year. And I get teary eyed watching these videos. So I could imagine it's going to be in a very emotional time for some of the families this Passover.
Absolutely. And for the child waiting for that moment to be able to sit with their parents or their grandparents, having this tradition. And it's also part of the tradition for the grandparents to share that history and share those stories, answer the four questions. And therefore, it's almost, it allows the Seder to be complete.
Rabbi Kasriel Shemtov with us here on the Mega Cast. When we talk about the various generations sitting at a table together, I'm thinking about the technology and how much technology has changed just over the past 10, 15, 20 years. how has technology played a role, and what can the younger kids teach their grandparents as well?
Well, I think technology has helped us, first of all, spread the message and learn about it. And, there are many people that are alone this Passover as well. And for example, in our case, we have set up on our website where people can have a demonstration of how to run their own Seder. You see, for many years, you have sort of those people that led the Seder, and then you have many that used to join the Seder. And for the first time, it's like, oh, I have to run a Seder. How do I do that? I've been always watching someone else. So now
That's a lot of
there,
pressure.
you could say so. You could say so. And actually, in our organization, in the Chabad Lubavitch movement, that's what we've been doing now for the last year we started, and we did it again this year, to reach out to everyone and say, you can do it. You can become the leader. And it's not that difficult. Get online, watch a video presentation. There's all these different how-tos that were developed this year, especially. And there's beautiful materials that came out that we never had before. And I think that all is part of our learning experience, to be able to celebrate Passover, each one becoming the leader.
How long do you think it's going to be before people can join together in person in large groups and celebrate together again?
Well, my expertise is not predictions, but look, the way things are going, I think we're learning quickly, we're adapting quickly, and God willing, we should have the blessings to be able to have good health for everyone and be able to do the right thing. One of the interesting things that we have done is, what's Passover? Passover is going out from slavery to freedom, and what we're taught. We have a great teacher, the Lubavitcher Rebbe of blessed memory, who was our spiritual leader, and whose birthday was just in the last few days that we marked it. There was a governor's proclamation in Michigan recognizing his birthday, and he has taught us that the focus of Passover is that we all have limitations and boundaries in our lives, challenges. That's Egypt. That was the slavery. That was the boundaries. What is Passover? Passover is to go free from those boundaries, to go free from those limitations. And I think COVID really teaches us that. Here we are, we sort of feel locked up in our homes. We feel like we're limited. We have all these challenges. And Passover says, you have the ability to go free. You have the ability to do so many things that even bigger and better than you could have before, whether it's through technology, through Zoom, or getting out there and celebrating. Passover is a time to look into ourselves and see the power that we have to impact those around us and ourselves, even with all those limitations. And that's going free. That's Passover. So in our organization, for example, when we started coming to Passover, we started thinking, okay, we must get together. We must celebrate. We must somehow connect with our holiday. How do we do that? So maybe you heard about this. We have this wonderful program in Detroit, which we created a theatrical experience, a drive-through theatrical experience. We had it at the town center in Southfield. A car park was transformed into an experience where you drive through different stages. We had actors, multimedia, all types of effects and props, and you went through the story of Passover. And we had thousands of people that drove through in their cars, in their safety. They were able to hear the narrative through the radio in their car, watch the experience. And by the way, this was grandparents with grandchildren, all ages, and that allowed us to experience Passover. So we thought out of the box, something new, something different, something creative. And we decided we're not going to be limited. We're not going to be held back. We're going to celebrate Passover, and we're going to get into that mode of Passover. So I want to suggest that coming Passover, when we're all sitting at our table, if you're sitting alone and celebrating, or with your family and your grandchildren, either way, recognize you have the ability to go free. You have the ability to do so many things, and don't get held back by your limitations of COVID or anything else.
Rabbi, we are blessed to, if we have to go through a pandemic, to go through it at this time when technology is available to us. Do you think some of the things that you have discovered and come up with during the pandemic using technology you'll continue to use once we come on the other side of this?
Absolutely, no question about it. Yeah, I'll give you an example. When we came to the holiday of Hanukkah, so we always did a big event downtown in Campus Martius. We would do the city lighting in Campus Martius, and this year they told the governor, we had you only have to have 25 people together. How do we do this program? So of course we did it. We did it with online virtually, and we had 12,000 computers hooked in. The estimate was about 30,000 people that participated. Now, every year we only had, a few thousand, what was it, 4,000 people. So it actually expanded. So next year when it comes Hanukkah, there's no question about it. We'll do a live audience and we'll do an audience through virtual. That's one of the lessons that we have. God gives us all different situations. If you see you have a challenge, you need to become stronger from that challenge. So if you learned how to do something new, you utilize that for good, for the future. So there's so many good things that came out of this. That's what we're going to build on. That's what we all have to do in our personal lives, is not to look at it as a year where we were held back, but look at it as a year where we learned new things and implement it into the future. And that's true, by the way, for business, that's true for personal life, and it's true in our religious experience.
And when you were coming up with some of these new ways, how important was it to include the younger generation and their savvy skills with the older generation and bringing those two together?
Well, look, this theatrical experience that we made couldn't have happened. This was multimedia, the latest technology that was used, and it was done very quickly. Okay, this younger rabbi than me that developed this actually in Hollywood, California. I couldn't do it, okay? We needed someone in the young generation. And then when we have to get out on multimedia to get the word out and do whatever, you turn to the younger generation, right? Setting up my Zoom right now with you was my 10-year-old helping out and telling us what to do and what not to do. Okay, so yes, we will turn to the young generation and we will utilize all their experiences.
Well, it really is one way that we can all come together and learn from one another and continue to learn from one another as well. Rabbi, it's always great having you with us.
Exactly. Can I just share one moment? I would like to just share with everyone, Passover is still coming until this evening, till the Sabbath. If anyone needs the handmade matzah that you have at your Passover Seder, this is very important for the Seder. We have also to set up your Seder table, whatever you need for your experience. You could still reach out to us at the shul, and we will try to help out and make sure you have what you need for your Seder. If you have any questions what to do, reach out. You can reach out to rabbi@theshul.net, THESHUL.net, and we will try to help you out with the matzah and everything that you need.
Oh, that's great. Thank you for sharing that. And also, where can people see the video of the drive-through event? I know it's out there somewhere.
Actually, there was newscasts. There was, you have some of the reporting on it, and they showed some of it, I know, on Channel 7, on some other channels. I don't have right now a video where I could direct you to. I'll get that link and send it over to you.
If they Google it, they can find it. It really was a very creative way to celebrate Passover. So thank you guys for coming up with that. And thank you again for your time. It's always great having you.
Absolutely. I want to wish all your listeners a happy and kosher Passover. And we're here to help in any way we can.